The Supermarine Spitfire, with its sleek design and elliptical wings, is perhaps one of the most iconic aircraft of World War II. When it was developed in the 1930s, the Royal Air Force, RAF, was in desperate need of a modern fighter to counter the rising threat of Nazi Germany's Luftwaffe. The Spitfire, designed by R.J. Mitchell, was an answer to that need. The Spitfire was built around the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, which in early variants allowed it to reach speeds of around 360 miles per hour. As the war progressed, and both the engine and airframe were improved, later versions could exceed 440 miles per hour. The early Spitfire Mark I had a service ceiling of approximately 31,900 feet, or 9,700 meters, and a range of around 395 miles, or 636 kilometers. On the other hand, the later Spitfire Mark IX, which was one of the most produced variants and saw significant improvements over earlier models, had a service ceiling of about 43,000 feet, or 13,100 meters, and a range of approximately 434 miles, or 698 kilometers, on internal fuel. With drop tanks, the range could be extended further. The aircraft's relatively small, thin, elliptical wing design provided exceptional aerial performance, allowing it to outmaneuver many of its contemporaries. These remarkable wings had detachable tips, allowing for an extended, pointed tips, which increased the wingspan for high-altitude operations, or a clipped wing version for a faster low-altitude speed and more agility in low-altitude dogfights. In terms of armament, early Spitfires were equipped with 8 .303 caliber machine guns. As the war progressed and the need to engage heavily armored targets became apparent, the Spitfire's armament was updated, with later versions carrying 20mm cannons and even configurations with a mix of cannons and machine guns. The Spitfire was not a one-size-fits-all aircraft, and it saw numerous variants throughout the war, each tailored to specific roles or conditions. From the early Mark I to the Mark 24, the Spitfire was constantly adapted and improved. Some versions were optimized for high-altitude performance, while others were tailored for ground attack roles. More Spitfire Mark Vs were built than any other type, with 6,487 built, followed by 5,656 Mark IX variants. In total, over 20,300 Spitfires were manufactured. Another variant of the Spitfire was the Seafire, which was essentially a Spitfire modified for operation from aircraft carriers. The Seafire had a strengthened undercarriage and tailhook for carrier landings, and it played a significant role in naval operations during the war. The Spitfire's role in World War II cannot be understated. It is most famous for its part in the Battle of Britain in 1940, where it was instrumental in defending the British Isles from the German aerial onslaught. However, it served in nearly every theatre of the war, from the deserts of North Africa to the jungles of Burma. The Supermarine Spitfire legacy as one of the finest fighters of the Second World War and a symbol of British resistance and resilience remains ingrained in history. The iconic silhouette of the Spitfire, with its elliptical wings and graceful lines, remains a poignant reminder of the heroic struggles and sacrifices of the time.